This was one of the most exciting games that I have ever seen. Despite having a 14-point lead with 2 minutes left, the New York Knicks still lose the game to the Pacers in overtime. Aaron Naismith, Tyrese Halliburton completely go off in this game. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm one of the hosts here, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at NBA Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into it, man. This game, y'all, I don't even know what to say. I have no idea what to say with this game, man. Between Aaron Naismith, between Tyrese Halliburton down the stretch of this game, who they combined for 61 points in this game. They end up coming back after being down. They were down 14 points with 2 minutes left in the game. 14 points with 2 minutes left in the game. When you look at the end of that fourth quarter, they went on a 20-6 run with 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in the game to push the game to overtime. That's crazy. It's really I don't know if we've ever seen anything like this. No, we've seen stuff like this before, but this is one of the games where, I talked about it before in an earlier episode. The Pacers are a team that just refuse to go away. They just refuse to go away. Despite the lead, despite anything else, they refuse to go away. And that's what it was in this game. Nobody would have looked at them any crazy if they would have lost this game, but the fact that they just kept chugging away at it. They kept chugging away. They did not back down at all over that stretch. When you look at that stretch, Aaron Naismith scored 14 points out of that 20-6 run. He goes off in this game. Tyrese Halliburton scores 5 as well, and it just helps solidify them and push them into being able to win this game. A 13-6 run in the overtime period. There were 7 lead changes in just overtime in this game. This is one of the most fun games that you guys could possibly watch to open up the playoff series. I said set the tone, right? That's what you want to do in game one, especially if you're going to win on the road like this. The Pacers have completely set the tone now in game one. And they did so with their pace, their relentless offensive attack. Now, I want to be clear. It's not like the New York Knicks played terrible over the course of this game. Down the stretch, they play like absolute ass cheeks, right? You get 78 points combined between Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, and it's just not enough in this game, mainly because of the execution of the Indiana Pacers. They refuse to go away. And that goes to the coaching of Rick Carlisle. That goes to the play of, like I said, of Naismith and Tyrese Halliburton, the defense that was on display as well in this game. Everybody played a role in the stretch. While the Naismith and Halliburton may have scored the most of the points here, it was more than just that. You got defensive plays from Pascal Siakam. Miles Turner made some plays in this game as well. And the thing with the Knicks, right, and it really felt like the Knicks were going to win this game, Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble, and he went and sat down. And the New York Knicks, who were trying to find some offense, the time that Jalen Brunson was sitting down with that foul trouble, he had 5 personal fouls. They go on a 10-0 run. And it really starts feeling like, okay, you're able to go on a 10-0 run with Jalen Brunson sitting down on the bench. You have a double-digit lead. You got this one. But no. And it's just watching this game and the way that it all played out, man, I know this has to be frustrating for the New York Knicks. I know this has to be demoralizing for New York Knicks fans. And this brings about a lot of trauma in regards to that as well. But, like, the Pacers do it, man. The Pacers do what they've been doing this whole entire time. Ever since Tyrese Halliburton got the most overrated player in the year moniker, it's like it woke something up in him. It woke something up in him. And not to say hasn't always been his scoring. It hasn't always been that. And I won't say he played every game, even that the Pacers won excellently well or anything like that. But Tyrese Halliburton has been motivated, man, and he's been getting through this, man. And it's been really fun to watch. Man, listen, Tyrese Halliburton, shout out to him for playing for playing the way that he has been, man. It's just to go from being named as the most overrated player by your peers. That was NBA players that voted that. And now you're in the Eastern Conference Finals. You won your first game. You're 3 games away, which is a lot. I'm not trying to say like it's a small thing. 3 games away from making an NBA Finals. And a win like this, parity is here in the NBA. And anybody who thinks that it's not is just missing the boat on that one, man, when it comes down to it. But outside of, we talked about Naismith with his 30 points, 14 of those coming alone in that fourth quarter run. You get Tyrese Halliburton with 31 points in this game, Pascal Siakam with 17, 14 from Miles Turner, 15 from Nimbrand. So that's every starter scored in double-digit figures. You're going to need that from the Pacers. You also get 10 points off the bench from TJ McConnell. And like I said, the Knicks, it wasn't a terrible game for the Knicks by any stretch of the imagination until you got into that end of the fourth. That's where you should have been closing the game. And I know Tom Thibodeau, as a coach, as intense as he is, this is going to be something that eats them alive, and it should be. You cannot have games like this, man. You can't have games where you have a double-digit lead with 2 minutes left, and you somehow let it slip through your fingers. No lead is safe in the NBA, period. Not a single lead is safe. And that goes to show you in the way that this game was executed as well down the stretch. The Indiana Pacers, once they caught that momentum, the Knicks, despite making some shots, still having an opportunity to win this game, they never matched the physicality of the Indiana Pacers after that during that fourth quarter run and into the overtime. The Pacers had the momentum. They got in ahead. They were making better defensive plays as well. Of course, some things broke for the Pacers that didn't break for the New York Knicks as far as in their favor. But hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. This is a game in which we saw 68 free throws in this game. 68 of them in a playoff game, right? And again, like people talked about with the OKC Minnesota, I'm fine with however you're going to officiate a game as long as it's officiated down the middle and both teams are getting the same amount of calls or the same type of calls. They're officiated the same way. And the New York Knicks just don't understand how to take advantage of the physicality. This is not the Boston Celtics. This Indiana Pacers team, while they took 37 threes today, they're not going to just settle for the three-point shot. And that was one of the things that played into the benefit of the New York Knicks against the Boston Celtics. When things got tough on the Celtics, they just took more threes. They never really attacked the paint. They didn't get to the middle. And yeah, man, and the Pacers just, they play with such a level of intensity, man. You got to give love to the Indiana Pacers, bro. Like, I hate the Pacers. As a Bulls fan, I've been bred to hate the Pacers. I'm always going to hate the Pacers. But I'm not blind. I'm not going to be blind to facts. And the fact of the matter is, the Pacers are playing some really goddamn good basketball right now. Period. They're playing some great basketball. And the momentum that they are. I asked a question of Steve-O when we recorded earlier today, right? And the question that I asked him was, which team has peaked and which team hasn't peaked yet? Basically, can still get better over the course of this playoff run. And neither one of us picked the Pacers because, the Pacers have been shooting like crazy. You got several players on the Pacers who've been shooting the three ball at 45 and 50% and things like that. But I may be wrong on that. Like, the Pacers, in just the execution and coaching that's on this team, have been playing so well that, I mean, maybe the best basketball for them is yet to come. Now, there's something to be said about being down 14 points in the fourth quarter. How many situations are you going to come out of that and be able to win that game? Of course, there's that question asked. You don't want to do that again. But the dog mentality from this Pacers team, the fact that they get down but they don't stay down. They do not allow any lead, any momentum to take them completely out of their game. And that's what you saw in today's game. And I think that you got to put a lot of that on head coach Rick Carlisle. I know that he's been a coach that has, the issues with Luka and things like that have been talked about, whatever. But Rick Carlisle is a really good X's and O's coach. And I think this is going to be a series where, much like some of the earlier series, it's going to be about who can make the right adjustments to the adjustment. And today, it was the Indiana Pacers. They made that adjustment to the success that the New York Knicks were having, and it worked out in their favor. You don't want to keep getting down by 14 points. And if I'm the New York Knicks, I'm looking at the things that you still did some things well in this game. You just got to close it out, man. The New York Knicks cannot be the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. You can't do that. Not for that fan base, not in that building. And that's the unfortunate part about this. Like, this is the type of game that you could snatch the momentum right away in game one. If the New York Knicks do not come out in game two, they're going to have to do like the OKC Thunder did in game two against the Denver Nuggets. You're going to have to come out in that trying to kill. That's your main focus. You have to do that. If you don't, this series can slip away from you early into this series, especially with having you can't lose game two. You cannot lose game two. You cannot go to Indiana down 0-2. I just don't think you can. If you do, it's going to be ugly. And that's the type of pressure that you want to avoid if you're a team. My sister is a Pacers fan and is going crazy doing the Reggie Miller choke right now as we speak. Hey, man, seeing Tyrese Halliburton do that as well, like after that big shot to send it into overtime. Crazy, man. Crazy. This is what NBA playoff basketball is about. This is what playoff basketball should be, man. It should be a battle of both teams going back and forth. It shouldn't be a bunch of blowouts and stuff like that. Like, you want to see teams battle it out. You want to see some of the most entertaining basketball that you've seen in a while. They said the Western Conference Finals viewership was down from year over year. I guarantee you this game's viewership is not going to be down. I guarantee that. Regardless, and I won't say nobody. Not that many people had either one of these teams making it to Eastern Conference Finals with the way that the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers played. And injuries played a part in that. Make no mistake about it, right? Injuries played a part in that. But I think when you look at the basketball that these two teams have been playing, man, they've been executing really well. And I hope that the New York Knicks come out. JB, who's my co-host on this show, you guys seen a couple of times. He wasn't able to make it. He's having internet issues. He's a Knicks fan. I would have loved to be able to have him on this show. But I think overall, man, this is what we watch this for, man. This is why the NBA can be so good, right? You have two teams that are both deep. It is what it is, man. My first ever basketball game was Bulls at Pacers to see MJ. I got a soft spot for them. Hey, fair enough. I don't think I could ever be a Pacers fan, right? Like, that's never going to happen. I don't understand how people could be like diehard fans of multiple franchises in the same sport. But listen, I won't deny, despite my hate of the Pacers as a franchise because I'm a Bulls fan, you can't deny how good this team is. You can't deny the talent on this team, right? Like, you can have a preference, but you don't have to be blind in that, right? Like, I mean, hell, it's the Pacers and the Knicks. These are two franchises that, as Bulls fans, I should be programmed to hate. But this is a series that I'm super excited about. And I personally think this is going to go 7 games. But the New York Knicks are going to have to come out in game 2. They're going to have to play. And, this whole balance that they have with bringing Karl Anthony Towns out on defensive possessions and things like that, I understand it, right? Because Mitchell Robinson played 21 minutes in this game, 8 rebounds, 2 points, a block, and a steal. You want him out there for his defense. But Karl Anthony Towns is going to have to play better. Him and Jalen Brunson, right? They played 2 great offensive games, combined 78 points. But you saw where the Indiana Pacers were trying to attack them defensively. Those are the 2 weak spots in their lineup. If you can attack Towns or you can attack Jalen Brunson, that puts you in a position to be able to definitely win that game and to take advantage of those defensive mismatches that they're going to have, especially with Brunson's size. Now, on the flip side of that, right? Like, let's be clear. Naismith played great today, right? But he can also be a defensive liability as well also. So, like, you're going to have to keep it going, bro. Nimbrand is another one. Nimbrand could definitely be a defensive liability out there for that Pacers team with his size at times, but it didn't hurt them today. They were able to overcome it, and that's just the most important part of all of that, man. Great game. I don't know what to say, man. Great game. Now goes back to Minnesota. Back to Oklahoma for the Minnesota versus the Thunder. And listen, hopefully game 2 is a lot better than game 1 as far as from an entertainment standpoint, right? Because the East just put on a show. This was a show that the Eastern Conference just put on with this matchup, man. And I love that it's not one of those. I don't think it's going to be one of those where people make it more about officiating down the stretch. They're not going to make it more about who got what foul calls. This was just a run by a team in the Pacers that wanted it. That's it. They wanted this victory, and you felt that, man. That's what playoff basketball is about. When you want it, you go out there and get it. You fight hard for it, and that's what the Pacers were able to do today, man. Hats off to them for being able to get this victory, getting a dub in game one on the road at the Garden, man. I don't know what else. Like, there's no better story than that. No better story than that. Now we just got to see what comes next. Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Because, listen, if a Tom Thibodeau coach team does what I know Tom Thibodeau coach teams have done before, they're going to come out in game two, and they are going to be looking to prove a big point, and they should be. Because you had a double-digit lead at home and got your ass kicked. That's what happened. You got your ass kicked down the stretch of this game. The Pacers came in here and just beat you the fuck up. So, hey, we'll see what comes next to this, man. But this was a great game. This was amazing to watch. Super hype after a game like this. Hell, I wish there was another game on at this point in time, man. It's 11:32 here. I wish there was another game on, man. Adrenaline pump. I don't know how you can watch that and not feel fired up. I don't know how you can watch this game and not feel fired up. Like I said, they just put on an utter show in this game. But both teams are going to have to go to the drawing board. They're going to have to figure out some stuff in this game. They're going to have to get the turnovers down as well. You don't want to keep that going on. When you look at it too, the New York Knicks really killed it in the half court today. 55% in the half court. They were only 2 for 11 on fast breaks. You got to be better than that if you're the New York Knicks, especially when the Indiana Pacers scored at 62%. They shot on the fast break. You got to be better than that. Second chance points were about even. They were 8-14 for the Knicks, 8-12 for the Indiana Pacers in that one. But yeah, you got to get it together, and we got to see what's going to happen there, man. Because this is going to be a series. I'm telling y'all, this is going to be the series in these conference finals that you need to watch out for. So what comes up next, man. I am super excited about this. But let me know what you guys' thoughts, your feelings, everything down below. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and or voicemail for the mailbag, number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything basketball related, man. This was a fun one, man. This was a fun one. I need more interaction from y'all. Y'all watching? Y'all not commenting? Leave some more comments, man. I want to interact with y'all. KD says, people saying the East is weak. I disagree. We just don't have the Hollywood big-name players compared to the West. I agree with that. Listen, the East is the East have a lot of teams that are all near the same level, right? But I think when you look at the Eastern Conference Finals over the last few years, you've seen that's why there's always like one team that's unexpected that goes on a pretty deep run, right? And that's because of how close things are in the East. And it's really a second season. It really is a second season. Didn't feel fired up. The Knicks just fell apart, and the refs dragged the game out. The last minute of the game took 30+. Well, that was because of the challenges. That wasn't because the refs dragged it out. That was because there were so many challenges over the last minute of the game and reviews and things like that it definitely drug out. But hey, you don't feel fired up. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. This was an exciting game, even with the play stoppage. To me, it was a very exciting game. But hey, I look at it this way. I know that people bring up how challenges and things and reviews slow the game down, but I'm fine with the game being slowed down if you get it right. For example, the Jalen Brunson call. When they initially called it out on the Pacers, I don't remember who was defending him, but then they ended up figuring out it was out on Jalen Brunson, which led to the Pacers going down and getting a bucket. If they would have got that call wrong and Jalen Brunson would have, it would have been out. Let's say the Knicks would have got the ball back and scored. That could have determined the outcome of that game, right? So I'm all for the game slowing down when it means that you're getting things right. Because the last thing that I think any basketball fan should want is a call to be wrong that decides the game. I want refs. I want officials. I want the NBA. I want coaches. I want them to have everything at their disposal to where when the game goes down the line, especially in important games, playoff games, regular season, all right, maybe I'm on your side as far as how the game dragged out. But during the playoffs, I want everything possible to make sure that it's the right decision. That's what I take. That's the way that I look at it. Challenge didn't need to take that long. Cap it at 5 minutes. No, take every bit of time that you need. I want you to get the play call right. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, it sucks that we're going to be up a little bit later. Make no mistake about that. But, like, no, I want the play to get right. I want whatever takes the decision down. If they needed to rewatch it 3, 4, 5 times to make sure that they got it right, that's what you need to do. That's what it's there for. I didn't mind all the stoppage of play because it was intense every step of the way. Them boys were at war. Completely agree with you there, KD. Completely agree with you. And I much rather the call be right than it to be quicker and it's still wrong. I would much rather it be right. So, but all right, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Love you guys. I'll see you guys next time I feel like making a video. Probably tomorrow morning. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break